Jai Jinendra, everyone. I welcome you all to the conclusion lecture, lecture number 3 for this beautiful series, Three Gems, Ratnatraya. Very privileged to have Anubhav Bhaiya with us in this conclusion lecture. He has carried this topic in a very beautiful format, Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and now Samyak Charitra. Till now, we have completed the right belief part, right knowledge part, and now comes the right conduct, which is the stability. Stability is a very small word and a very non explanatory word when it comes to the language. But what exactly is Samyak Charitra, right conduct? Bhaiya will explain the session. Before we start with the lecture, let me shortly introduce you with the GIF portal to the people who are new and joining for the very first time in today's lecture. Jeev is a Jain English education and values platform where you will get to learn Jainism in English language. And this is the third lecture, the conclusion lecture of the series Three Gems. How to access these lectures, we will talk about all these points in the later part of the lecture. Now, Anubhav Bhaiya, over to you to start your lecture today.
Thank you, Harshal Bhai. Judge Nendra, everyone. I hope you are able to see the screen. Okay, let's have Manglacharan. Please join your hands. Ramo Arihantanam, Ramo Siddhadam, Ramo Ayariyanam, Ramo Vajjayanam, Ramo Loe Savasahudam. केवल रवि किरणों से जिसका संपूर्ण प्रकाशित है अंतर, उस श्री जिन वाणी में होता तत्वों का सुंदरतम दर्शन, सददर्शन बोध चरण पथ पर अविरल जो बढ़ते हैं मुनिगण, उन देव परम नागम गुरु को शत शत वंदन, शत शत वंदन. So today the third gems, right conduct. We are fortunate enough that we have got birth or knowledge about birth in Jainism, or by virtue of our environment, our friends, our parents, we are having the access to Dev Shastra Guru, and because of them, we are having the access to understand this Saddarshan Gyan Charan, which means right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct. It is very essential part of any methodology that we believe something, we have the right knowledge about it, and then we rightly apply it to achieve any goal. So it's an very fundamental and universal, uh, I would say, methodology which applies to anything and everything. And over here, we are discussing the path of liberation, how we can how we can be free with our sorrows, miseries, the worldly uh, things, and then the attachment, the cycle of the birth and uh, death and all. You may think like these all things are sounds bit unfamiliar, not in my agenda. I don't really would like to be free from this cycle and all. Really don't connect with what you're talking about. But I'm really very sure you will be able to connect with the very one thing that I would like to be happy, right? And that is where this particular methodology will be not only helpful, but it is unavoidable, inevitable. It is it is very essential that we understand, uh, and then rightly apply this particular part. So right now what we are doing, we may not be really looking forward to uh, really having this agenda of liberation in our plan down the time of light, like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Maybe I'm just thinking like I have so many other responsibilities to really uh, fulfill, and then probably at the age of 45, 50, 60, or whatever age, I would really think about all these things. So then I would really like to challenge this mindset. That is not the age to think about this. That will be the age whatever we can really uh, do. But even if we are having the plan of doing something at that age, that's perfectly okay. Let's understand first what exactly the right belief is, what exactly the right knowledge contributes to this whole methodology, and then what exactly this right conduct is all about. Okay, so I would really, really seriously request everyone to really understand this part first, because once you have the right understanding, no one else you need to really uh, inspire you or to guide you further. Very solid understanding you can make right now, and then whenever you feel free to apply it, you are free to do that. But understanding part, let's not push that to some different timeline in the future. Okay, so let's start with this third gem, which is right conduct, samyak charitra. From where this samyak charitra starts, or what is my known thing at the moment, is sins, the pap, and the passionate dispositions, kashaya, right? Can we really imagine ourselves without having these sins and the passionate dispositions, kashaya? Maybe a bit of somewhat, maybe some moment in the day I may feel that I'm now not doing any sins, I'm not having any pap, I'm not really having any passionate dispositions about anyone or anything. You may have that delusion, that's perfectly okay, or maybe feeling that particular part. What I'm really looking for, can we ask, will whatever that particular moment was I feeling good about that moment? What was the feeling I was having? Was it, I mean, were you at the very best of you, like you are happy about that moment that I'm not feeling any sins or the passionate disposition, be it right or wrong, be it whether there was sin within uh, the layers of paranam, that's perfectly okay. But the very basic understanding we have, the passionate dispositions and sins are not the cause of any happiness. They are really the cause of sorrowness only, right? So if we have, or we have developed that firm belief that in that moment when we are not having any sins and the passionate dispositions, we are really on top of the world. We are really enjoying ourselves. And if we having that firm belief, that is where the samyak conduct we will be able to really understand. So what we are saying, the engrossment of one in oneself, connection of one with oneself, free from all sinful inclinations and the passionate dispositions, and completely detached from the external world while being fully focused inward, is referred to as a right conduct. Now you may think about, why should I really detach from external world? Why can't be there be a situation that I can still be connected with the world? So we are not really asking or mentioning that connection is lost with the world. No, it is detached from the external world. Detached, and the connection is having really a fine line which we should really understand. Detached means I am focused towards the external world. I'm feeling something less in myself. That is why I would like to really incline towards the worldly thing. That is what called as a attachment. And that is when I'm really feeling fulfilled in myself. That is what called the detachment from the external world, right? So if we replace this detachment from the external world with the positive side of the sentence is the engrossment of one in oneself, right? That is where I'm feeling complete in myself. That is from I don't really need to do any sins. I really don't need any passionate dispositions. That is where the right conduct starts from. Okay. So I hope now you have got the basic foundation about what right conduct is. And obviously, as we mentioned, this right conduct, having the right understanding about the right conduct is it is the pure transformation of soul itself. Don't look for right conduct in some worldly things, some external things. It is actually the transformation of the soul itself. So, this particular function of right conduct, where it will be occurring in the soul itself. That is the very basic core about the Jainism, right? It originates from within the self. And if we understand this, at least this understanding will not be uh, causing any misguidance or misleading in the worldly thing, even when I'm not really coming towards the path of liberation, but I know at least whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm thinking, that is not the path of liberation, right? Um, so, the very basic thing, unless until I'm having connection or in the center, the soul itself, anything and everything, it could be anything, but it cannot be right conduct. So, right conduct always be starting from myself, soul, the pure transformation of the soul. Okay, it can start even when we are living in the home. Obviously, the mature version of it is basically happens when one becomes muni, but starting point is obviously uh, while we are here, right? So right conduct is when the active consciousness is completely engrossed in self, the soul, which was recognized as one's true identity upon attaining right belief and further understood distinctly through right knowledge. So now you must have got the connection between the right belief, right knowledge, and the right conduct. So unless we have the one's own understanding, our distinctly our existence distinctly from the world, if we don't have these two things, how can really be engrossed in oneself? Because to engrossed in oneself, we really need to understand who we are, right? And then how I'm different from the other worlds, other things. So that is the very basic foundation. And on that foundation, we are having the uh, if I give you the analogy about any tree, so then roots are belief, and the external part which you are seeing, you can really say it is knowledge, and then the the fruit which is coming out of that particular tree, those are the really the right conduct, I would say. So this is the very matured stage in the on the path of liberation, which is really giving us, or we can say really it's a stage of benefit realization. It is a stage of where we are really having the uh, when we are having really the uh, enjoying the benefit about this particular whole thing. I've got one question on my chat box. Let me just see what this is about. Okay, so the question mentioned here is, can any conduct related to body can be right conduct, or does the conduct have the relation related to soul? Okay, I'm coming to that part. Okay, first of all, we have understood this right conduct is the paryay of, or the function of, soul itself, right? That is the very basic thing we really need to understand. And then in that moment, at that moment, there are many different versions which we come to know from Jinwani. What is the aspect about it? We will discuss about that. Okay. So hold on to that question. We will be coming back to soon to that question. So in the state of self engrossment, which is known as a pure meditation, or if you have heard about Shuddh Upyog, what exactly happens when I'm, and I would really like to connect you with the your practical experienced example. When you are calm, composed, happy within, whatever thing happens around you, you are really not bothered about it. And when you are unhappy from within, anything and everything really can make you unstable, make you uh, anxious, make you unhappy, right? So, the very basic thing is, unless you are happy from within, unless you are having the fulfillment feeling from the self engrossment, you cannot really be free from sinful activities, because all sinful activities, whether it is via mind, body, or speech, is having the very center phenomena that I'm feeling empty from within. That is why I'm running towards these sinful activities. So obviously, when one is calm, composed from within, from mind, from speech, or from body, this sinful activities obviously uh, go away. There is no sign of uh, no presence of all these activity happens. So those were the kind of a sinful activities. Not only sinful activities, but all the other emotions which we may think like it is very pleasant moment, but actually that is not, uh, that is having just the um, front phase as a pleasant, but if we think about it, it is core material is one and the same, because it is away from myself, it is keeping me away from myself. Let's take a practical example. Having this fight, we understand this is not a desirable situation, but having love with someone, is that the desirable situation? You may say yes, yes, that's perfectly okay. I'm happy. I'm really getting the what I would like to get. But if you think about, this fight is keeping you away from yourself. Now, this feeling of love, is it bringing you close to yourself, or this is also keeping you away from yourself? Obviously the answer is like, it is very tough question I have asked, and very tough answer if you would like to give. If someone is having breakup or having that hard feeling, may sound like, yes, I understood what you are mentioning. But if someone is in very much on that peak of the love life cycle, may think like, what you are talking about. Are you having some problem with your life? Why you are saying that this is keeping me away from myself? You have to think calmly. Whether it's a feeling of fighting or feeling of love, it is basically keeping us away from myself. And that is where it is called ashubh upyog, and this is called the shubh upyog. And shubh and ashubh both are basically ashuddh, which means keeping us away from myself, and all type of the auspicious and inauspicious dispositions. So disposition itself is keeping us away, whether it is auspicious or inauspicious. Okay, passions and impure emotions are completely absent when we are talking about shuddh upyog, when we are talking about the right conduct. Okay, that is the very higher benchmark in the Jainism we are having. No doubt, we are not saying that you should have this on this instance itself, but understanding of this is very important. And that is where um, one famous poet from Hindi has mentioned, Harivansh Rai Bachchan, पूर्व चलने के बटोही राह की पहचान कर ले. Before you start journey, you should really know your road. You should really know your way. Otherwise, you will be misled. Okay, you will be easily distracted. So then we are on that particular phase. We are understanding what exactly the moksha marg is, right? Whether I'm able to start my journey very soon or not, that's perfectly okay. But at least I'll be having faith that this is what called the right journey or the path of liberation. At least I'll be save myself from all other worldly explanation about the liberation, where they are having, if you reach to Kashi, you will be liberated. If you do so, you will be liberated. If you wear some angutis, rings, you will be liberated. If you do some type of this and that, you will be liberated. So, keeping us away from that, this particular knowledge which we are discussing right now is very essential. Okay. So, I would say every penny saved is also a earning. So every faith saved about the liberation is also, we are on the right track on the liberation. Whether we have started our journey or not, that's perfectly okay. I hope you are able to resonate with this particular thought. Okay, so now this state leads to passionlessness, which is vitrakta, which we have anytime we understand, free from rag and dvesha, vit ragta, right? Doesn't have any passion. What do you talk about? Passionlessness means the whole world is running towards the passion, would like to be passionate about things. And you're saying passionlessness? What exactly this dharma is? Now, really, we need to understand this all. I mean, till the time we really don't understand how happy we can be with our natural state, which is knowing the world without really having uh, any additional thoughts about it. When I say additional thought means, it is not about knowledge type of the thought. It is about I'm liking it, I'm disliking it. So this liking and disliking is a wrapper on our knowledge. Actually, every soul has got the nature of knowing the world, and we are here to know the world. We are here to know ourselves. But then we have just forgot about knowing, and then we are having this wrapper of liking and disliking, which is making every miserable situation here. So vitrakta is the situation where we are not having that layer of liking and disliking, rather we are having the true knowership. And then uh, when that happens, the karma bandh stops. And then the karma which are really in my account at the moment, slowly they also disassociated. I just used categorically used the term slowly, but actually that is not slowly. That is very fast phenomena is happening of disassociation of the karma when one is with oneself, one is engrossed with oneself. And if you have heard about a fourth dhal of Chaudhalaji, um, कोटि जन्म तप तपे ज्ञान बिन कर्म झरे जे ज्ञानी के छिन्माहि त्रिगुप्ति ते सहज तरे ते. And I think this is the right time to discuss about the question which Mitali ji has put in chat. Uh, can there be anything of bodily called right conduct? So this particular quote is saying you do millions of years uh, the external thing, and whatever the amount of karma will be disassociated if you really engrossed with oneself for a moment itself. There is no comparison of these two. The amount of karma get disassociated. One side you are having the million of years practice of bodily thing, and one side you are having the one true moment with oneself. Now there is no comparison even you can do, right? So this gives you the gravity. What exactly the gravity of being one with oneself? How how and why this bodily thing, the external thing, uh, really cannot contribute into the path of the liberation. You may think that you are sounding like a very extremist. No, we are talking about the right thing right now. I'm not saying that Mahavrat doesn't happen, Anuvrat doesn't happen. Those comes into the journey, those comes into the path. But what exactly the right understanding about it? The right understanding about it is this is happening and this is happening. If this is a function of body, this is a function of body. If this is function of my, which is knowing, this is function of my. I'm not mixing the two things. And that is what the right belief is, that is what the right knowledge is. On the basis of that, we are having this uh, palace of Samyak Charitra. So we cannot really go away from that basic understanding. If we mix ourselves with bodily activity, that means we have lost that foundation of right belief. And that particular lost is losing everything on this path of liberation, right? So I hope you make out the sense out of that. Okay. So in this state, the soul experience experiences an extraordinary bliss that is free from attachment and anxieties. It is naturally detached from the external world and represents the true nature of the soul. This is the right conduct of the soul. And this is what the very much natural state of the soul, when one is really experiencing the extraordinary bliss. And that is our swabhav, that is our मैं ज्ञानानंद स्वभावी हूँ. ज्ञान प्लस आनंद, मैं ज्ञानानंद स्वभावी हूँ. That is where this extraordinary bliss comes, which we can never ever be experienced in the worldly things. How one might wonder, here one might wonder, what about the woes of an ascetic Mahavrat, which the question we have got, penance, tapa, or austerities, sanyam, and the other ritual like 28 Mulguna mentioned in the scriptures from Muniraj point of view, and Ashtmulgun from Shravak point of view. Aren't these considered right conduct? We are having so many things are happening. You must have heard just the Lakshan Mahaparv has gone away, and then we were having lot many celebrations. Someone has done 10 upavasa, and there's a celebration happening, felicitation happening. Is that not the right conduct? Why then these all things has been mentioned in the Janvani? Very genuine question. But the very basic thing which we need to really understand, activities like vows, penance, and the austerities are conventionally seen as cause of liberation, and we are mixing it. Jinvani itself is saying that when one is within oneself, has got really abandoned lot many things, that is what you are seeing externally as a uh, vows or penance or austerities. But the very other aspect is within is that particular soul is happy within, engrossed within. Because of that, lot many things has been really gone away. That is what you are seeing as a vows, penance, and the austerities. And these happens at the same moment. That is why they also termed as uh, right conduct or vyavahar moksha marga. But can they be really exist without one knowing oneself and engrossed within oneself? They cannot, right? So the seed uh, is basically, or the true phase is basically nishchay moksha marga. And at the same time, whatever I'm not really able to be within, because of that, those external conducts are happening. They are also termed as a moksha marga, vyavahar moksha marga. However, the absolute path of the liberation is union of right belief, right knowledge, and the right conduct, as described above, which is the Nishchay Moksha Marga. A soul manifesting this inner purity with naturally exhibiting outer conduct in the form of vows and the other practices. So, as I mentioned, the vows are basically the weakness of not being within. That is why it is happening. So, this weakness cannot be termed as a right conduct solely. They are termed only when we are having the power of being within. So, in terms of Karnan Yoga, if we say, uh, see, I'll give you the basic example. You were having a fever of 105 degree. Now it has been reduced to 101 degree. Now, the reduction of this, can it be called as a healthiness? You may say yes, but is the fever of 101 degree is health sign of healthiness, or that immunity which has been developed within, that is the sign of the healthiness? So that immunity which has caused the reduction of the temperature from 105 degree to 101 degree, that is really the sign of healthiness. But whatever has been remained, that is still showing the sign of unhealthiness. But then it is very basic phenomena in the world. We are saying that at least now feeling better about what? That immunity part or that 101 degree part? So similarly, if you apply it here, that 101 degree is still showing that you are not healthy, but that is a different lens we are applying and saying that at least now we are happy, right? So these woes penance are termed as a 101 degree. But if one is not really having this within immunity, how exactly you can term this as a vyavahar charitra, right? So that is one important aspect we really need to understand. Um, now the conclusion part of thus these activities are conventionally known as the right conduct, but without true internal purity or right belief they do not leads to liberation, right? Now, path of liberation. I know we are running a bit short of time, but um, I hope now you are able to relate. The path of liberation is basically the combination of right belief, right knowledge, and the right conduct are pure manifestation of the soul itself. It is not to be seen externally, It is not to start externally. It always starts with soul. It always uh, cultivated from the soul, and it will always have everything and everything with the soul. That is what the uh, essence of the Jainism is. Now, what is about they do not rely on karmas, the body, and the instrumental cause, which is called nimitta, or any external factor for their evolution. It is called, but they do not rely. If we have the our own capability, then they are uh, called and seen in association, but actually they do not rely. If we think about karmas, karmas will never be go away. These ratnatra will never be coming in. If you always think about body or bodily activities, these things never be going to come. Even very dangerous thing I'm talking about now. Even if we just always be thinking about the uh, Dev Shastra Guru and not following their preaches to come within, we always be away from this moksha marga. Even Dev Shastra Guru is telling us that Jin darshan kar, nij darshan pa. That is where these three gems are basically coming. So I hope now you must have realized this point. Uh, we are not negating anything. We understand that part, the nimitta namitic sambandh. But this is where we are discussing the very right foundation about that part, right? So the these aspects are inherent within the soul, providing that the path of liberation exists not outside the soul but within it. That is what the true moksha marg, that is what the preachings of the Dev Shastra and Guru as well. So this uh, revelation emphasizes that soul does not need to depend on any external factor for true happiness, as everything is required requires lies within itself. And I hope now you will be feeling light about knowing this particular fact about the liberation. Because whenever I have gone to somebody else in the world, they always says, you come to me, I'll give you the liberation. How and why? Why should I really be dependent on someone? Why should I have this on the mercy of someone's wish? Why? Right? So our logical mind itself is speaking that this seems perfectly right approach about the liberation, right? This unity of the right belief, right conduct, and right knowledge, which is the pure manifestation of the soul, constitute the real path of liberation, which is called Nishchay Moksha Marga, right? And when Nishchay Moksha Marga is there, the external thing which I'm not really able to be within, the 101 degree fever, is called as a Vyavahar Moksha Marga. Okay, the auspicious disposition and the activities of the mind, speech, and the body observe in souls which have achieved the unity of the right belief, right knowledge, and the right conduct. That is called as a Vyavahar Moksha Marga. Um, Similarly, including practices such as uh, asceticism, penance, auspicious sentiments, and similar actions are conventionally referred to as the path of liberation, which is Vyavahar Moksha Marga. One might wonder, are there two paths of the liberation? Real and the conventional? No. The answer is that there is only one path to liberation. No, I'm not able to achieve the body part and the real part. So 50-50? No. There is no 50-50. 100% it is coming from within. It is a transformation of the soul itself. The answer is that there is only one path to the liberation, the real one, known as the Nishchay Moksha Marg. And with that immunity which we have developed. Because of that, we have came from 105 degree to 101 degree. The same immunity will be bringing us from 101 degree to 98.4, right? And this 101 is not going to bring us 98.4, right? So that is what we say, एक होए तृण काल में परमारत्नो पंथ. There is no different two path. It is only one path, which Srimad Ji has mentioned in Atmasiddhi Shastra. एक होए तृण काल मा परमारत्नो पंथ, प्रेरे ते परमार्थनो ते व्यवहार समंत. Only all those activities, all those worldly things which are really emphasizing or pushing us towards the Paramarth, those are only called or termed as a Vyavhar. Otherwise, they not even get the title of Vyavhara. This verse clearly states that there is only one true path to achieving the ideal state liberation across all times, be it past, be it present, be it future. It is not never ever going to change. The cause that inspire this path are merely conventions. So this is where we come as a conclusion of this particular part. Summary is very simple. Um, the ultimate benefit for every soul lies is striving for liberation, as true happiness is found only in liberation. Path to liberation, Acharuma Swami defines the path to liberation as the unity of right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct. What is right belief called, right knowledge called, and pure manifestation of the souls? And two different descriptions which we found, Nishchaya versus Vyavhar. I hope now you have got it. What exactly the way it is preaches, way it is written, way it is manifested, we really need to understand. Unless we have the core soul transformation, the Nishchay Moksha Marga, Vyavhar not even termed as a Vyavhar. So Vyavhar is something which is showing what exactly remained. Because of that, I'm engrossed in the still those auspicious activities and all. So it always starts from within. Um, it coexists for some time as in the form of Anuvrata and Mahavrata, but we we should have very clear understanding. As long as we are having the faith, we are having the attraction towards these bodily thing, uh, on the name of the auspicious activities, we are really away from oneself, and that is where we are really uh, defeating the purpose of being on this journey of liberation. I hope you understand the crux of it. There are a lot many things to understand about it. Be with the Jinvani, be with the Dev Shastra Guru, understand this path of liberation, and really be the part of this uh, happy soul community, the Siddha Bhagavanta. Handing it over to you, Harshil Bhai.
Sure. Yeah. Can you share a screen?
Sure.
Thank you for this beautiful lecture for this very important and crucial topic. Today's lecture was filled with references from different Granth Atmashiddhi Shastra, which is a very beautiful Granth. Also from few bhajan, Jin Darshan, Karnij Darshan, Ho Jata Takshan Jnanamai, explaining about the Nishchay Moksha Marg, the Nishchay Ratnatraya. So these were the references. And before we proceed to certain points which we need to discuss, is there any discussion point or any query apart from the one query which already Bhaiya answered? Any other query from the audience who wanted to share any point or any discussion? Feel free to come up. Okay. I guess we had only one query, which is already answered. If anybody wants to interrupt, please feel free to intervene your point. Now the one point which I want you to throw some light in, like a 1 or 2 minutes, Bhaiya, is as discussed, detachment from outside world. Can you please define the outside world? Is it related to karma or anything apart from Atma's boundary? You just define the term outside world. What's that?
Okay, very good question. Let me just share my screen. Um, okay, for as we are having different maturity level, this really starts from, there are two way to explain it, starting from really the very um, very prominent thing which we are able to see, uh, that they are different from me, or let's start from within itself. So I'm explaining both ways. So starting from whatever things which comes into my possession, okay, maybe house, car, clothes, and all. The thing which I termed as a my or me, the body, the thing which termed as my thoughts, my ragdvesh, the thing which I termed as my gun or paryay, but actually that not completely defining me. I'm not that particular thought, that particular gun itself. Rather, I'm having the anant gun. So all these things actually comes into the outside world. Then who am I? I'm the one who was there, who is there, who will be there, and there is no one else is can disturb it, can change it. That is what I am in. I am. Okay. Apart from that, everything else, and this is not manifestation. This is not something which I'm just having the imagination about. This is what the truth has been told by many Tirthankaras, or every Tirthankaras in the Samavasharan, because they are seeing this is a reality, that every soul is different. So now think about this: the possessions, the body, the thoughts, even the paryay of one samay, and even the uh, gun bhed. All these things are comprises as outside world. No doubt. I mean, when we are talking about the possessions, they are called outside, body called inner. But then when we talk about thoughts, the thoughts are called inner, body is outside. When we thought about paryay, the thoughts becomes the outside, the passions and all, kashaya and all. When we think about gun, then paryay becomes as outside. But when we think about me, the true me, the true I, then all these akhand pind of gun is there, not an individual gun I'm focusing about. So then everything becomes the outside. Um, I hope you are able to connect with this thought. Uh, I know this is what really the practice of adhyatma that one need to do. Uh, be really closer to oneself, and then things will be seen as outside. So this is what I have started from external world, and then from internal, if I start, the one, who am I am. Apart from that, everything is outside.
Okay, perfect. Anybody, any add-ons to the explanation or any comments to this? These topics I wanted to raise because these are relatable and everybody can put up their points as well. So, this session at the end is obviously all the time open for discussion. So, yeah, thank you, Bhaiya, to explain that radius. Also, to add on one more point, since we were discussing about the bodily things, in the Daslakshan Mahaparv series, Sayam Bhaiya took the Uttam Brahmacharya part, and he was also kind of got a question about is it only related to attraction towards opposite gender, or is it something else? Then he clearly mentioned that Uttam Brahmacharya means Atma ke Brahma Swarup mein charan karna, which means to get engrossed into yourself, the supremeness, the supreme soul. And when it comes to the bodily thing about attraction towards opposite gender, it becomes a secondary thing, which is the bodily thing. Similarly, we discussed today about Samyak Charitra, getting engrossed in yourself, or the stability which Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan will take upon leads to Samyak Charitra. And side by side, the Vyavhar Moksha Marg will be following you. You don't have to chase it, but that will simultaneously come up. We also discussed about a beautiful example lectures back about the peel of a banana. Whenever you go to buy some fruits, buy some bananas, you cannot ignore the peel of the banana. If you will ignore it, I don't think so. There, the fruit will safely reach to your place and come to your stomach, because that's the important part. But being that peel the important part, you cannot eat it. You have to throw it at some point of time, maybe after reaching home, or maybe the time you consume it. So this is the phenomena, this is the psychology which we learned today, and also in Uttam Brahmacharya part before. So any add-on, anybody, feel free, else we will conclude this session and we will conclude this series for today. Okay, I think we have concluded it nicely. So let me shortly, in a minute or two, show you all the accessible points to Jeev portal. So we have summarized it in 4 formats in the 4 pointers. Under the Jeev website, you can navigate through resources. And in the resources section, you will see different topics. The popped up topic here is the 3 gems, which is the existing topic. And after this, your window will look like this screenshot, which is popped up. And then you can view your courses on the dashboard. You have completed 1/3, 2/3, or you have completed it all the resources are present there: presentations, quizzes, Gurudev Shri lecture snippets. I think this is the most important part, which is very new, which the entire team has made up. And let's say we are learning the topic, the 3 gems, Ratnatraya. Gurudev Shri many times spoke about Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, Samyak Charitra, this human body, the soul, how this Samyak Darshan happened, all the Mahima and everything he has explained multiple times in his lecture. So those snippets are there, short snippets, along with the English subtitle. Since we are learning this in English medium, so you will get it in English subtitle video format. And then you have the URL for jeev.net.in. support@jeev.net.in is the email ID. If you have any queries, you can reach out to us directly. We will help you connecting with the expert, let's say Anubhav Bhaiya, for this session. So yeah, in this way, we are concluding this lecture, this series for today, and we'll see you in the other series and lectures. Anubhav Bhaiya, we can proceed with Janwani Stuti now.
Yep, sure. निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है, इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है, इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को। 9 बार ओमकार मंत्र।